And this was a month-long trip for us, so we went from place to place.
Right.
So
no round trip flights.
Right. We did not do any round trip flights, and we actually used miles for this flight. So we did not spend any money. Shout out to American Airlines. We did not actually spend any money on our flight. But I did briefly look up like a round trip flight from LAX, because that's what we would have been doing. It's about $1,200. So keep that in mind.
Or
per person. Round trip. No, round trip. So round trip per person from LAX to Lisbon, Portugal is about $1,200. So that's probably your biggest expense. Keep that in mind.
Also, I mean, she mentioned points, right? So we got an American Airlines credit card. No, they're not sponsoring us, but if you know a person, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and make that connection. And literally groceries, right, utilities, clothes, all the things that we've been spending money on. Eventually, had that card for 2 years. Haven't used any of the points. It's been building. Then finally we used, I think, all of them,
pretty much
all the points on this card, or on this trip. But it made the trip that much more affordable. Yeah. Welcome, Melanated Married Millionaires in the making and friends, to another impactful episode. We're about to go through and highlight a melanated married couple, or just go through some lessons that we got. Make sure y'all tap in with the conversation. Queen, where can they go to tap in?
TheM4Show.com.
Yes, ma'am. And make sure y'all follow us on Instagram. Queen, where can they follow us on Instagram?
The M4 Show.
Now, if y'all haven't liked and subscribed, it would make the Queen very, very happy. If you can go ahead. Very? What should they do?
You should go ahead and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're watching or listening. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
It's free, and your first step to becoming a millionaire. Go ahead and click that button. And let's get into the show.
Let's do it.
Let's just kind of rock with the flow on how we start this, but it's still baffling to me that we were traveling for an entire month.
Did it feel like a month to you?
It felt like more than a month, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, it felt like 3 months. It felt very long.
It felt very short to me.
What? No, it felt extremely long. I don't know if it was because I'm used to working, so it's like, yes, I was doing a little bit of work abroad, but the fact that we had like 10, 12-hour days where we were just traveling on boats on somebody's ocean, just like just living life, was great. So what we're going to do in today's episode, right? We have 4 different solid destinations. 2 episodes ago, we did Colombia. Definitely make sure y'all go back, check out our amazing experience in Colombia. And we're having Jair and the team really cut it up and give y'all some good B-roll too. So you can watch the live one where it's just us talking, but you can also watch some of the edited ones later on with some good B-roll. Today, Queen, we are talking about which destination?
We are going to be talking about Portugal, which is our second leg of our trip.
Yes, Lisbon, Portugal. Definitely recommend, right? Spoiler alert, it was great. Spoiler alert. But if you're interested in going to Lisbon, if you've been to Lisbon before, definitely make sure you leave your comments below and let us know what your favorite part of Lisboa was. And if you're planning on going, let us know what questions you have about the beautiful country or city before you get there. Queen, are you ready?
I am. We're going to go over the 4 C's.
What are the 4 C's?
Cost, culture,
Capades,
and cuisine.
Boom. Our favorite is cuisine for sure. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into the episode. Over 50% of Black Americans are unmarried, and only 2% of Black families in America have a net worth over $1 million.
We are on our journey to not only join that 2%, but grow that 2%.
Facts. I'm Devon Travell, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, with my beautiful co-host.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. You can go to our website at them4show.com, our Instagram at them4show, and our YouTube channel at Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making.
And welcome to the M4 Show. Back, beautiful people, to the Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making show. I'm your host, Devon Travell, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game. And of course, I have with me my beautiful, my freshly locked up queen, my travel expert, expert, my chef-orific, galactic, beautiful, melanated, dancing queen herself. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
I
am all of those things and more.
There we go. Come on now.
M4 gang, yes.
M4, we in here. So let's go ahead and get right to it, right? So we went on a month-long trip, one of the legs being Lisbon, Portugal. And we're just gonna go right into it and break it down. All right. So Queen, going into it. And first off, while you kind of load that up, the reason why we're doing travel reviews, right? Specifically on the M4 shows, because we feel like the more that you are exposed to, the more you can dream and the bigger that you can really just go for it, right? Every time we travel, we come back with new business ideas. Every time we travel, we come back with a story that we can tell. We're able to connect with more people. And we feel like if you are really a part of the M4 community, if you are a melanated married millionaire in the making, or you're already a millionaire, then you can connect to these things. And we want to be able to just expose people to the world of travel. We're always surprised, and we're blessed, Queen. Is that a fact? Facts. We are beyond blessed. But it always still comes across a little bit of surprise when we talk to people and they're afraid of traveling, don't want to travel, only want to travel within a certain, area code or within a certain state. And it's like there's literally an entire world
It's
to
so
see.
big and it's so amazing.
So amazing, right? So that's why we're doing travel stuff. If this is your first episode with us, travel reviews is kind of a rare thing. We usually focus in on wealth building, entrepreneurship, marketing, real estate, intellectual property, trust, all that good stuff. But we're sprinkling some fun in between our guests. Queen, let's go ahead and now jump into it. Unless you got something else, you sounding like you want it. No.
You right. Start with cost.
Okay.
So yeah, the first C we're going to go over is cost. And so as we mentioned before, we always like to cover 4 C's when we're talking about travel: cost, culture, Capades, which are like activities, and cuisine. Mm-hmm. So start off with cost, because we know that's it's a barrier for a lot of folks.
Indeed. It's a barrier for me. I'll be honest with y'all.
It's not cost, a barrier.
It's a mental barrier.
There you go.
For me.
It is a mental barrier. But yes, cost, we know that's the first thing that a lot of people think about when they think about travel. How much is it going to cost? So first, break it down. We talked about currency in the last one, so I wanted to keep that same pattern here. Yes. So in Portugal, they do use the euro. And right now, the US dollar is about 0.9 euros.
Wah, wah, wah.
Exactly. So it's actually the one place in our trip where stuff was probably more expensive. But honestly, though, like if you look at yes, the dollar isn't worth as much, but like on average, the actual menu prices for things were probably the same, if not a little bit lower. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it actually kind of averaged out. Yeah. But yes, they do use euros, so keep that in mind when you're traveling there. Now, flight. I know that is one of the biggest expenses when it comes to traveling. Keep in mind, this was a month-long trip for us, so we went from place to place.
Right. So no round trip flights.
Right. We did not do any round trip flights, and we actually used miles for this flight. So we did not spend any money. Shout out to American Airlines. We did not actually spend any money on our flight. But I did briefly look up like a round trip flight from LAX, because that's what we would have been doing. It's about $1,200. So keep that in mind.
Or total?
Per person round trip. No, round trip. So round trip per person from LAX to Lisbon, Portugal is about $1,200. So that's probably your biggest expense. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. Also, I mean, she mentioned points, right? So we got an American Airlines credit card. No, they're not sponsoring us, but if you know a person, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and make that connection. And literally groceries, right? Utilities, clothes, all the things that we've been spending money on. Eventually, had that card for 2 years. Haven't used any of the points. It's been building. Then finally we used, I think, all of them,
pretty much
all points on this card, or on this trip. But it made the trip that much more affordable. Yeah. So highly encourage you, if you have the capabilities, you have the credit score, to get a flight card, right? Delta card, American Express is good for international, Southwest. These are things that can help lower your travel expenses if you know you're going to want to take a trip eventually.
So someone's asking about the 4 C's. Cost, culture, Capades, cuisine is the last one. Food. You know, we all about food. But yes, so points, that's a great hack. That's a great travel hack. If you know you're going to travel, get some type of travel card that's going to give you rewards points that you can use towards travel. It makes it that much more affordable. Again, we know flights is a big part of any type of travel. So whether you do a hotel card or a flights card, it has definitely, I think, worked out for us.
Oh yeah.
Not only that, but it's also much more affordable or much easier to get like the upgraded travel. So we actually, on this leg, we actually got to travel. We got to
She
travel.
was so excited.
I was. It's not business class. What was it called?
Premium
economy. Thank you. And it was actually pretty cool. And now the biggest downside was that we did not actually officially get to sit together. We had to maneuver around and have somebody switch with us. So
easy.
Yeah, but unfortunately, like there's less seats there, and so you have to just work with what's there. But it was pretty cool. We have nice reclining seats. You got a whole little travel pack. They give you a toothbrush. They give you like a little flight mask. What else? The food. I don't remember the food on that leg, but
it was cool. We got the wine in there, but I feel like we usually get wine. So I don't know if they didn't get wine in economy, but we definitely got wine in premium economy.
But it was nice, and we probably
wider seats.
Yes, and on long flights, it was like a 10-hour flight, so that is nice to not have to like be like this all the whole time. So, yeah, it was nice, and we probably, with him being my husband, would not have been able to fly that way any other way. AKA, we wouldn't have been paying for it. So the fact that we were able to just throw in a couple extra 1,000 miles to get that upgrade was really cool. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, the other big expense typically when you're traveling is like hotel or Airbnb, or however you're going to use it. Where are you going to stay? So we chose Airbnb. And so for a week, we were there
Why did we choose Airbnb, Sinclair?
I mean, it's more affordable, honestly. And in this, at least in Lisbon, it seemed more affordable. I also just like Airbnb because if you're there for a week, you have more space typically than you will in a hotel room. So it's always a trade-off. If you like to be somewhere where you have a lot of amenities, right? So if you want the restaurant, if you want the spa, you want the concierge, right? Definitely go with an Airbnb, a hotel, unless you can find an Airbnb that's got all of those things. They do exist. But if you want more space, like we were basically in a flat, we were in an apartment. And so for those longer trips, or if we know like we have to shoot a podcast and we want more space, then I know I typically prefer the Airbnbs for those.
Refrigerator is great. Yeah. Because if y'all don't know me, I don't like wasting food.
Yeah.
So to be able to not have to like stuff yourself at a restaurant, take the food to go, put in the refrigerator, and then late night snack, boom. We did that a couple times in Portugal.
We did.
Oh, beautiful. I also like the fact that Airbnb typically isn't in like the 100% touristy areas. So it's like it puts you a little bit in the middle of Portugal. Our location, shout out to you. Great location, right? We were able to walk to a lot of different restaurants, able to walk to some attractions. So that was also a plus. Lastly, because we've been riding this whole points wave, on our American Express card, we can exchange points for Airbnb credits. So and then we exchange the points for Airbnb credits. We can also do hotels.com, and then that way we can get free housing. So again, we're trying to make it real affordable for y'all, right? If you have a business American Express card or a personal American Express card, you can start exchanging some of those points for Airbnb credits or hotel.com credits to reduce the cost.
And by credits, you mean gift cards, right?
Yes, gift cards. Yes. That wasn't obvious. My bad. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what a credit
What's a credit?
Gift cards. You can exchange those points for gift cards. Was that what we did to pay for excursions, because Airbnb has excursions, actual stays, as well as some a whole bunch of stuff. So cost of our Airbnb for a week, we were there for 7 days, 6 nights. And actually, we weren't actually there for the whole time. I messed up and I booked it for 1 extra day than we needed it to. But we booked it for 6 nights, and it was $585 total. So not terrible, especially when we are comparing to
less
California.
Than $100 a night,
right? That is crazy cheap, especially to be in a prime location. Like we booked all of these excursions very rarely did we have to take an Uber to get to the excursion. It was like, oh, the meeting place is 10-minute walk that way or 6-minute walk that way. And so yeah, it was very centrally located. Again, we had a kitchen, we had a living room, we had a bedroom.
And we were walking distance from Pink Street.
Yeah, like it was just
like Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
It was just very centrally located, pretty nice, and yeah, all for $585. So again, I think we think Europe, we think euros, we think it's going to be expensive, but it's not always break the bank expensive, at least not in Portugal. Anything else you want to mention there?
No, are we to the scoring point? And if I'm missing any comments, you got the better eyes. I see them coming in. I just don't see words.
Reduce cost by exchanging Amex points for gift cards. Correct. That's the key. That's the key.
That's the key. And sometimes, y'all, and I check every once in a while, but sometimes American Express has like featured deals where the points to dollars exchange is a little bit higher for certain places. So if you see if you want to travel and you see hotels.com pop up on the feature deal, just boom, go ahead and get that exchange. Right now, the feature deal is Apple. You can get like $500 for 70,000 points, which is it's a pretty good exchange.
I was like,
if you don't know, it's a pretty good exchange. All right, just saying. But are we to the scoring portion?
Yes.
Okay, so Queen, what would you score costs? And I don't know, do we want to score based on how we engage with the cost because we did do some points, or just how the costs are in general?
I think let's go to like more generally, like how cost in Lisbon, Portugal was.
Okay. What you feeling
first?
Okay. I'm feeling especially because we're coming off of Colombia, which we gave like an 8.5. I think I'm going to go with 7.5 for Portugal. It is relatively affordable, but I feel like because we're coming from California, we have a different perspective of what affordable really is. So it's like, yeah, pizza costs really good pizza costs like $14, $15 out there, which is, pretty good. But I feel like in the grand scheme of the world, there's definitely more affordable places. So yeah, I'm going with the 7.5 for Portugal for costs.
And I'll go with the 7. That's what I was going to give it. So what is that?
7.25. All right. Y'all keep track of these numbers, okay, that works too. Thanks, Sinclair. You work for the podcast, so yeah, you should definitely keep track of the number. I'm trying to put y'all to work.
Hey, audience.
Right. While you're driving down the road, go ahead and write this math on your windshield. Oh man. All right. So we got costs at a 7.25. Definitely, not 2
out of 10.
Out of 10. Yes, definitely out of 10. There are a lot of people, specifically from California and generally America, who are moving to Portugal to retire, right? Weather's good. Cost of living is comparable to California. People are friendly. They do speak English. So I think that could be affecting the prices a little bit, maybe driving them a little bit up, but highly recommend, pretty affordable.
Yep. All right. Moving on to our second C,
which is
culture. So you already kind of mentioned language a second ago, where you said mostly people do speak English, which is pretty much the case. There wasn't too many people who did not speak any English. Right. Most people speak some sort of English, but naturally the native language there that almost everybody speaks is Portuguese, which is it's an interesting language. It's like a mixture of Spanish and
Arabic and
it's
Japanese, apparently.
Yeah, it's a very interesting language to try to learn if you already know bits and pieces of some others. I always try to this is similar to another one. Portuguese is a nice mixture. Yeah. But yeah,
we didn't get the hang of it.
No. I don't think I could tell you one word.
We did not get the hang of it at all.
I don't even remember like thank you. I don't remember anything.
Thank you is obrigado.
That's right.
I'm him.
Obrigado. Yeah,
Come on.
Okay.
World traveler, y'all.
Yes, you are.
But yeah, it was very difficult because I think we were comparing it so much to Spanish. So then every time we tried to speak it, and then it was just confusing. But beautiful language, and like there's stories behind a lot of the words. Like obrigado, for example, is very close to how you say thank you also in Japanese, which is arigato. And there's some history there where like it's the Portuguese were trying to conquer Japan, Japan was like, it's not gonna happen, y'all. But and then
that's cute.
Right, that's cute. Y'all think you could come over here? We got samurais, we got ships. It's not gonna happen. But then they were able to meet, come to a truce, and then they do a lot of exchange of culture. Even so much where we learned the
tempura.
Yeah, the root to tempura was when I believe some of the Catholic Portuguese were going through mass, and like they weren't eating Lent. Thank you, and they weren't eating any meat. So then the Japanese were like, all right, well, we'll make you something that you can still eat. So they fried these snap peas, green beans. Thank you, Queen. But between the two of us, we got the whole story. All right, between both of us, we got it. But snap peas, what'd you say?
Green beans.
Green beans.
You did it again.
So they fried the green beans to make them look like fish, and that way the Portuguese were still able to eat the fish. So and then or the green beans.
Yeah. And it's something that like something about the translation of Lent in Japanese or something like that is where tempura came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So I mean, I'm sure we have a whole video
somewhere in we actually took a video of the full story, so hopefully we can put it in there.
Google it,
and you can get the full story. But the word tempura actually comes from that whole exchange of like, oh, okay, this is new to us. Tell us more about it. But we don't eat meat. Okay, well here's some tempura green beans.
Yeah. Really cool. But more about culture. Queen, talk to us.
Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about, kind of culture, and we'll talk more about it when it comes to the cuisine, but wine.
Mm-hmm.
Wine is huge.
Definitely,
it's a huge part of the Portuguese culture. Literally at every meal there is some sort of wine. Yep. We went on a food tour, which we'll talk more about later. But every single stop had a different kind of wine. There was like a sparkling green wine. You had some red wine. There was a rosé.
There was a port wine.
Just like a dessert sweet wine. Culture scores dropping already due to the language.
It's difficult, but what I like about it is you're in Portugal.
That's true,
right? You're in Portugal. There's other places that we traveled, and we'll get to it later, where it's like I can be literally anywhere in the world right now. But I feel like walking around, people speaking Portuguese, although I couldn't understand it, it still gave me that authentic experience of I'm in Portugal right now. Go ahead.
Going back to the wine.
Yes, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off on the wine.
No, you're good.
I know you like the wine.
I was reading the comment. But yeah, the wine. Super big part of the culture, and that was cool to see. We like wine.
We do. Wine likes us.
And wine likes us. So that was just really, really cool to see. So I did want to briefly mention that here. And then the other brief part I wanted to mention was architecture.
Me too.
Yeah. Architecture, I feel like, is a huge part of Portuguese culture. And just to see it's again, one of the things where immediately when you walk out of your door, you're in Portugal. Because of the great architecture, and one of the things that makes it very uniquely Portugal are these tiles. So Portuguese tiles. So you'll have big old looking buildings, Portuguese style buildings, and then they'll have like a bunch of colorful tiles all over the buildings, and that makes it gives it a nice pop of color. It's just really cool. One of the excursions that you can do, we did not do, but a lot of the excursions we're offering it is to go visit like a tile factory where you can see where they actually manufacture them. So that is one of the huge parts of the culture as well.
Also in the architecture, like there's Moorish castles that are still there. So in the Moorish Empire is one of the African empires or Arab empires that was able to go north of Africa, but and then also into Spain, into Portugal. And y'all know I like Black history, so it was just cool to see those Moorish castles in real life. Another thing kind of about the culture that's interesting is there's, and I don't know how to say it nicely, but there's a very deep history in certain groups being persecuted within Portugal as well.
Yeah.
So that's not like a good thing, obviously, within the culture, but it was interesting just to hear those different perspectives, those different stories on how the Jewish community went through their own kind of period of time of being persecuted. The Muslim community went through their time. The African community went through their time. The Asian community went through their time. And we got to walk through the kind of Black Wall Street community, which was called what again? This was like an M.
It did start with an M.
Mossalia. Oh, this is gonna.
I'm gonna look up on Google Maps.
Look it up.
I'll find it. You can
look
go.
it up. But it was just interesting, and that's when it kind of clicked for us. Again, not sure how this is going to come into the score for culture, y'all. But the fact that we went to this European city and it still resembled the experience that people went through in America, as far as like redlining, right? Like if you're Muslim, if you're Jewish, if you're African, you can only live in this section of the Portuguese or the Lisbon city. So that was interesting, and also naturally, not on purpose at all, completely coincidental, because we didn't know about this part of town yet. But the first meal that we had when we went to Lisbon was actually in this Blackwell Street community, right? So we were literally, where our Airbnb was in the normal part. We were looking on Yelp probably, or Google Maps, for some food. We found this it wasn't Indian food, Pakistani food. Yeah, we found a Pakistani place. We walked to the Pakistani place, and then the next day we went on the food tour, and we walked right by it again. We were like, we're just naturally going to the Black Wall Street everywhere we go, even in Portugal. We go to the Black Wall Street communities. So Queen, did you find the name?
No, I'm trying to I don't remember what to type in. Like, what was it? It wasn't like, I remember our tour guide was like, this is like the hipster part of town. I was about to type in like hipster part of Lisbon.
No. Here, I'll look for it.
Okay, great.
While you look at this comment, and then let's start scoring culture.
No new comments as of yet. Okay. Except I don't know if this is bottle. Shout out to whoever is keeping score for us. They said cost 7.25. Thank you for keeping score for us. So I will start thinking through my score. So for culture for Portugal, I'm going to give it a 7.5. I'm going to give it a 7.5. It was definitely again, cool to learn. I feel like I like learning the language, so I feel like I wish we could have gotten more acquainted with the language. And yeah, like he said, there was some parts of the history that was like, oh, okay, it's a little dicey. So yeah, it's there's a lot of complicated things going on when I'm thinking about like, okay, how did we really enjoy the culture there? But overall, it was still great. It was a great trip, great learning about a new piece of the world and a new group of people. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5 for me. And yes, it's Bottle. Shout out to you.
Shout out to Bottle. And we're live, bro.
Yes, this is us. Really,
we're live. We're here. Culture. I'm gonna go with a 8.5 for culture. I just feel like it was, I don't know. I just felt like I was in Portugal, like walking the streets. I feel like it was good we felt safe to be able to walk. Went to Pink Street, had a good time there. The architecture was very, very beautiful. I did like the ability to see different cultures. Like we went to a Mozambique restaurant, went to the Pakistani restaurant. We had Italian food. Like there's just so many different cultures in Portugal while still feeling authentically Portuguese at the same time, which is very hard balance to do, I think. So yeah, I'm going with the 8.5 for culture.
Great. So that gives us an 8.
Boom. Now, have I found the city yet? The answer is no. But eventually we'll find it, and then we'll let y'all know what that city was called. I know I have a picture of it somewhere too. It's gonna bother me. But go ahead and go to the next one while I continue to look.
Do you want to finish with Cuisine, or do you want to go to Cuisine next?
Let's finish with Cuisine, because I think we had a lot of good time with food in Lisbon.
Okay, so we're gonna go to Capades. Culture 8. Yes, thank you, Bottle, for keeping us there. So Capades, which basically just means like activities, adventures, like what things did we actually do when we were in Portugal. So we've already alluded to the food tour, which we like to do at pretty much any stop that we go to. So yes, we did do a food tour. We went to like maybe 6 different stops, something like that. We had a cherry liqueur. Do you remember what that was called?
I don't remember what that was called.
Man, we went to so many different places, y'all. Forgive us. We're gonna find that too. That's gonna be easily Googleable.
Moraria.
Oh, and it is really like more.
It is literally like the Moorish section of the place.
Moraria, which is kind of like the Black Wall Street of Lisbon.
I know people are listening. Like literally, you didn't have to tell us that.
Right.
They were probably like, it's not that deep.
It's not that deep.
It's not that deep. But the way that our brain works, or at least mine, I needed to find it.
Now I need you to Google cherry liqueur. Portuguese. Thank you.
Yes, queen.
So the first stop we had like a little shot glass of cherry liqueur. Hopefully we can input the video of us taking that shot there. We had some tempura green beans. We had some Gingina. Again, I'm sure we have a video where they're explaining this. I think it was called Gingin or something like that.
Gingina.
But yeah, it was a cherry liqueur. It was actually very good. I think they said it was like 40% alcohol. And it tasted good. And I guess you can get it all around the city. Some people said, like, depending on where you go, it can taste a little like cough syrup. That was not our experience. You got to go to like the original one. It has a little like plaque on it that says like, this is the original in Lisbon. So yeah, that's definitely something I recommend.
Gingina. Look, y'all getting a great experience today.
Look,
y'all getting a full experience today. Go ahead, Queen.
I'm trying to think of what else we had on the tour. We had tempura green beans. We had sardines. We had an octopus salad.
We had fire water.
We did have fire water.
And it is not water at all.
Woo!
I'll tell you that. Well, you know, I talk a lot, y'all. So we were on this food tour.
Who knows what our experiences would be if you weren't you?
Not as good. I'll tell you that right now. We were on this food tour. It was the last stop. And we were having the Gingina, right?
Well, no, we were having a chocolate cake.
A chocolate cake?
Yeah, and a port wine. The
port
Gingina
wine,
was like the first stop.
So we were having the port wine, and I feel like, I don't know if I asked for something stronger or if I asked what else there is, or I asked some type of question, and then the tour guy was like, "Oh, well, you want to try some fire water?"
We were like,
"Wait, what? Huh? Fire water?" They're like, "Yeah,
tell me more."
It's kind of strong, but I can get some fire water for you.
They were like, and then they compared it to moonshine, right?
I think that's what I asked.
You probably asked, like, is there something like moonshine?
Are there any Portuguese moonshines, right? And then he was like, "Yeah, there's fire water." So then they brought out some fire water, and it was very strong.
They were like, you can sip it or you can just chug it, but like you need to breathe out afterwards. Otherwise, what they say?
When it comes with instructions.
Right.
That's how you know.
Fire water sounds crazy. Yeah. They were like, you need to, if you chug it, you need to like do a deep breath afterwards. Otherwise, it's going to burn your insides or something.
And we drank
it. I promise you, they said something like that.
Oh, hey, man. When you're in Portugal, you just
win in
Lisbon, you know. But anything else that we had outside of that? Let's see.
We had I mentioned sardines. We also had like a tomato jam.
I'm confused. So we're on Cuisine or we're on Capades?
We're on Capades, but I'm talking about the food tour.
Oh, we'll save that for the Cuisine part.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah. Cliffhanger. But another Capade or adventure that we did was the Sunset Boat Tour.
Yes.
Which was way better than the Sunset Boat Tour that we took in another location later on. I'll tell you that. But yeah, talk about the Sunset Boat Tour, Queen.
Yeah, so we did book that on Airbnb, and I'm not gonna lie to you, we were looking for a spot where we could enjoy some wine throughout the boat trip. So there was like 20 different places all doing Sunset Boat Tours. So I'm going through the reviews. This is literally what I do on these trips. Going through all the reviews, like, oh yeah, they gave us a lovely glass of wine at the beginning. Next.
Singular.
Right. Glass. No. Finally, I found one that was like, oh, they kept the wine pouring. It was so nice.
That's
I said,
the one.
Look, that's the one for us. And when I tell you they kept our glasses full,
they did. They
kept our glasses full. And so yeah, that was really nice. Literally from the time we got on the boat, they were filling our glasses. They gave us each like couple got a little charcuterie type tray with some crackers and cheese and meats.
Don't come hungry.
Yeah.
We were kind of hungry on that boat because it said it would come with snacks and food. We were like, all right, cool. We'll eat snacks, food there. No. Eat before the boat tour. I'll tell you that right now.
And then like true Americans, I was like, do you have any more of the salami back there? They were like, nah, fam.
You get one board.
Right. But yeah, it was a great tour. You got to go all around the is it called Tagus River? The river that's right on Lisbon. I think it's called the Tagus River, something like that. But it was very nice. You get to go all along and see a lot of the sites that we had seen the day before when we were walking. But to see them from the point of view of the river was really nice.
And the boat captain, there you go. I don't know what I was going to call him, but the captain spoke like 3 different languages.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. As an American, I need to learn more languages. I'm just feeling like every time we go abroad, people know 3, 4, 5 languages.
Yeah. It's a normal thing to learn other languages.
So I need to step my game up. But it was cool to be able to go on that river and get the history of the different architectural pieces, the statues and all that stuff too. So shout out to the captain for knowing the history.
Yeah. It said, bruh, I love this. This is a comment. Shout out to Facebook comment. Bruh, I love this so much. You never know when you'll be on a trip and not know what to do. You guys rock. We will all make all the mistakes for you so that you know what to do.
We got you.
But yeah, sunset boat tour was great. Like I said, kept the wine coming. Great views. The sunset was beautiful. Fun fact, we got to see the sunset right behind the bridge.
Talk to him.
So if you have ever been to San Francisco, you know, the very famous bridge there, the Golden Gate Bridge. We saw the bridge when we first arrived. My assumption was, they built the San Francisco Bridge after this bridge, because I just assumed it would be older. It's like the oldest city in Europe, in Western Europe. But no, I actually asked, like, did San Francisco build this is inspired off of this bridge? And no, they were like, actually, it was the other way around. They built the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge first, and there's
an earthquake.
No, I don't know where you're going, but the king or whoever it was in Portugal was like, I like that bridge. Hire the engineer who built it and brought them to Portugal so that they can build the same bridge. So it literally looks exactly the same. Really, the main difference is they have a train running on the bottom, whereas the Golden Gate Bridge, I think, used to, but no longer does. So yeah, really cool to see the Golden Gate Bridge, basically with the sunset and the river. Portugal in general kind of gives me San Francisco vibes, but just a little older. So that was really cool to see.
Oh yeah, real great stuff.
Yeah.
Another capade that we went on, and I don't remember, forgive me, what this castle was called. We went on a castle tour.
It was a Sintra Jeep tour, and in Sintra, which is Sintra, they have a bunch of different like castles and palaces and just mansions you can go and visit. But it was I don't remember the name of it. I have to check, but we got to see it was a house, but when you pull up to it, you would think
that thing was a castle.
You would think it was like a castle to some royal people or something like that. It was literally a house for one guy. And it was literally like an amusement park. You get a map to this thing, and they had a what could be a full house for a full people was like the staples for their horses.
Made of marble.
Yeah.
Do have money. There was a well that resembled the 9 levels of Inferno, or Dante's Inferno, 9 levels to something. I'm forgetting what it was called. A lot of life was lived. But what else was there? There was a whole acoustic outdoor like opera place that literally had like for performances, where it was built acoustically for performances and for singers. There was a higher level up where people can look from above, and then there was a staircase where you can stare at the stars. It's like, what kind of house is this? It was crazy. And I asked Sinclair, I was like, can we have a castle? She said no.
So I believe it was called Quinta da Regolera.
That
sounds familiar. Great. I'm just gonna spell the last part for you because I'm pretty sure I'm butchering it. It's Regaleira. So if you are interested in what we're talking about, go check it out. But there are a lot of other things you can see, a lot of other palaces and castles and stuff you can see in Sintra. But Sintra itself is beautiful. Just the city, and we got to do it on the back of a Jeep, which was cool. It almost gave like safari feels, but you're like on these narrow roads going, seeing all these beautiful views and passing all these mansions and castles. So it was really cool. And then we finished off, we got a wonderful Portuguese lunch, where we had the codfish. I think that was the first time we had the codfish. There's another really staple. We'll talk more about that later. It's on the list later. And then
food is just
I know every
section.
time. And then we finished off on the coast where we got to kind of go just literally along the coast. We stopped by the beach, got to sit there for just 20 minutes, walk around the cliffs and the sand. And then we actually drove and did a little like off-roading on like the cliffside up higher. And yeah, just beautiful views. That day was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a very long day, but a very good day, full of many capades. I think that may have been.
Do we want to talk about Cura here or in Cuisine?
Cura will be in Cuisine. That, okay. I mean, that's kind of a capade, but that would be in Cuisine.
We got to live our best life for a little bit, y'all.
Best life. And then there was Pink Street as well. We didn't, I think, dive into the fullness of Pink Street, especially because the place that we went to, nobody was in. But if you're trying to, do a little partying, go to bars and all that good stuff, there is a section of town specifically for the party life.
So yes, Bottle has summed it up very nicely for us. Number 1, stay away from firewater. Number 2, eat beforehand because there's no more salami.
Yep.
That's basically it.
Oh man.
So what score would you give Capades in Portugal?
I would give Capades probably an 8. I think that there was always something that we could do. Even if we didn't have anything planned, I feel like it was pretty easy to just go out and do something ourselves. Capades, I mean, I didn't check the price on things because you were buying stuff, but I don't remember it being too expensive. Not the eyebrows. I don't remember it being like too crazy. And then I feel like there was even more so that we could have done. Like, I think we only scratched the very small surface. Like, we didn't do any wine tours.
No, we didn't do a winery tour,
right, which we could have easily done. So yeah, I'm giving it a solid 8.
Cool. That makes it easy because I was going to give it 8 too.
Boom.
So
you got that score, Bottle? You do that quick algebra for us.
8.
Okay.
So, bless you.
Thank you. Shout out to everyone who has allergies right now. We're praying for you. My grandma's praying for you. Jaida's praying for you. Look, it's rough out here.
Okay. So finishing off with Cuisine.
But before we do Cuisine,
of course,
we got to leave y'all hanging. We got to do a quick commercial break. Y'all know the sponsor of this show, the M4 show, is Black Wall Street, the board game. So we're going to be right back. We're going to do a quick commercial break. And then when we return, we will go through Cuisine.
Don't leave, y'all. Y'all want to hear our experience we had. You want to hear this.
It was good stuff. So let's go ahead and go to commercial. Look, we're going to get right back into the amazing podcast. But if you didn't know, in 2017, we created Black Wall Street, the board game, because we thought more families needed to know about the history of Tulsa Black Wall Street. More families needed to know about the legacy of Black excellence left behind of Tulsa Black Wall Street, that we can own a Madam C.J. Walker Beauty Salon. We can have a Booker T. Washington High School. We can have an Uncle Steve's Barbecue. We can have a Renaissance man like Simon Berry, who had his own taxi service and bus service that got bought out by the city of Tulsa. We have brilliance in our DNA. We wanted to make sure that your family can play a game that teaches them about this brilliance. So we have Black Wall Street, the board game, right here. We had the first edition available in 2017. That got sold out. We're on the second edition right now, or you can get the beautiful masterpiece version of the game as well. It's up to you. Head to playblackwallstreet.com and get yourself Black Wall Street, the board game, to empower you, your family, and generations to come. Playblackwallstreet.com. Let's get back to the episode. Right, getting right back into it. I know y'all been waiting patiently to hear about all the food that we've devoured in Portugal. Queen, I don't even know where to start. We had a lot of good meals.
We had literally so much food.
We had a lot of good meals. Queen, go ahead, start us off.
Okay, so let's go all the way back to the beginning. Like you said, the first meal, we ended up in the Moraria. Didn't know where we were, but we ended up at this Pakistani restaurant. Very good. We got some like tikka masala, some I think butter chicken, rice biryani.
Naan was very fresh and good. Yeah. I love the thing that they serve the butter chicken on. They're like almost like cauldrons because they had like candles below it.
Kept it nice and hot.
It was good.
Yeah.
Good vibe.
Yeah. So that was delicious. We also had some pizza that was delicious as well.
Pizza that came with it didn't come with it. We ordered a big old picture
of sangria. Yeah. We ordered sangria, and then when it came, he was like, he brought it at first, and he was like, "Oh, now I have to dump the alcohol in." Open the whole bottle, like,
like, this is for 4 people. All right, relax. Don't judge me. Back up. All right, it's for 2 people today.
2 people today, okay? So yeah, that was good. And then the food tour I mentioned. The first stop was that Gingina, the cherry liqueur. Gingina. The cherry liqueur was delicious. We got the codfish. There was that stop where we went. It was like an older traditional Portuguese restaurant where we had octopus salad, tempura green beans. What else was there?
There's like fried cod.
A cod fritter.
Yeah,
codfish fritter. So that was actually the first time we had it in fritter form. And then some wine. We had another stop where we had some fresh sausage. It was like fresh, like not chorizo, but almost like chorizo. But yeah, fresh sausage.
That was good. And y'all know I don't eat pork. I ate one bite of that, and I was like,
it was delicious. It was delicious, y'all. Sausage, meats in general, like cured meats, very popular. That's what kind of one of the things they're known for. So, you gotta taste it a little bit. It was very good. Fresh sardines. So I know we one of the places where they do like the sardines in the cans is in Portugal, but to have it fresh was also very good. And
for her,
he's not a big sardine fan. I actually grew up eating sardines, so to have them fresh was very good. I liked it. But they also had a tomato jam. You remember that?
That was delicious.
Yeah, it with some fresh bread. That was really good. It was like I'm not a jam person. I never use like jellies or jams. I'm not really big on those. But yeah, it was sweet, but not like a
jelly too sweet.
Yeah, it was just like a slight tomato flavor, but it was delicious. I spread a little bit of tomato jam, put a little piece of the sausage on the fresh bread. That was good.
It was good. Mozambique restaurant had some really good curry. That's where we had the green sparkling wine.
So good.
What else do we have there? There was everything was vegetarian there too.
It was a samosa. They had beans. They had rice. They had a coconut curry. Yeah, that was your jam. Yeah, I liked the samosa. The samosa and the wine. That was my favorite thing. That wine. It was called green wine, sparkling wine. It was so refreshing. That was like my favorite wine, I think, from Portugal. It was really good. Anything else we had there? Oh, and then the dessert spot where we had the fire water and some chocolate cake, which neither one of us are big chocolate people, but it was actually pretty good
to us.
Yeah, and some dessert wine. So that was good. Again, wine at every stop, a different type of wine. So definitely recommend a food tour in Portugal and Lisbon specifically.
So I want to skip forward a little bit. We ate a lot of stuff. Right? I don't want to go through every meal, but I do want to for sure talk about cura.
So we decided to splurge and go to a Michelin star restaurant.
I know. Bottle, I hear you already. I hear you. Had to do it one time, going to do it again.
Yeah, it was exposure. We got to do it again. So we made a reservation. We actually were the first people to arrive. So our reservation was at 7:00 when they opened. And this was a 12 or 14. It might have even been 14, honestly.
That was 14 sounds better to me.
It was like a 14-course meal.
Moments. They weren't courses.
You're right.
They came. Courses. They're like, for our next moment, what we're gonna have is. And it was like, why are you talking to me like that?
Like it was poetry.
Yeah, it was just so calm. So yeah, and then they sat us. I don't know if it was because we were first. I don't know because they saw the melanated royalty, step into the building. But they sat us at the chef's table. All right, so this is sitting. Boom, we're sitting right here, and the chef is right in front of us. We see the entire kitchen. We see all the courses,
which is amazing in itself. Just to see there is somebody dedicated to just the garnishes. Like there's someone. This is their only job.
There's a bread person.
Yes,
all they do, and the bread was delicious. All you do is make bread. But talk to him, and I don't remember all 12 or all 14 courses. But talk to him about just the experience of those moments.
Man, y'all, this was amazing. And again, it was, I think, just being traveling while Black, right? You hear about a lot of the scary stories. So
Yeah.
to be sat at the chef's table and to just have like, and I, I'm that person, so I'm really looking around, like making sure, like they're not doing anything special that they do with these other tables that we're not getting. No, they really treated us like movie stars, like we were the table. Yeah, so it was just really nice to be given like that 5-star treatment from beginning to end. They were like, here, madam, let me take your jacket, your coat, right? Just everything was spectacular. They explain the experience. You choose. We did the wine pairing as well. So they were refilling our wine glasses. Yeah.
You're going too fast. Hold on now. I want to savor this moment.
Okay.
Let's savor this moment. So you walk into the restaurant. Yes, they greet you. They put you to the table.
They open the door. They were waiting for us, opening the door.
They open your door. They pull out your chair. They push in your chair. We did do the wine pairing for it, and the wine pairing basically every like 3 to 4 moments come with a different wine. Is it more money? Yes. It's absolutely more money. Is it worth it? Yes. All right. This is where I had arguably the best port wine, best wine ever had. We got a bottle of it, of course. And it was delicious. But every 3 to 4 moments, you get a different wine. And at first, we didn't know that they would refill the bottles,
right,
or they would refill. We were savoring it, trying to make it last as long as possible. But then we got to a point where we drank it all, and they refilled it.
We were like, huh.
Didn't ask no questions. Yeah, we were like, well, since it's bottomless, let's go ahead and drink. So, bottle or anyone else watching, that's another tip for you. If you have the wine pairing, you don't need to 100%.
Well, we don't know if that's where it is, like at every place.
Yeah, you right. You can ask if you want to, or you can just assume rock with it.
But every time they bring out a meal, so the first or a moment, excuse me, they have a whole presentation. There's 2 people dedicated to every table. So every table had like two different people, but we had 2 guys. I don't remember their names, but they were amazing. Super nice. So the first course they come out, it was a mushroom steak tartare. Mind you, this was the one course on the menu where I was like, raw meat, I might skip this one, but they brought it. It was a little thing, so I'm just like, let me just try it, y'all.
Delicious.
One of my favorite things that we had that night. It was so good, and it honestly just reminded me of sushi. So if you are a sushi person, then tartare is not really it's not much different. It almost reminded me of like a salmon, like that raw salmon texture. Same thing, but the texture was delicious. It was on a little cracker. They bring it out and they say like, oh, this is the mushroom steak tartare. It's da-da-da-da, and then we da-da-da-da, and then we da-da-da, and it's pairs with this wonderful wine, da-da-da. It was a whole story for each moment. And then, they set it down, then they walk away. Usually they'll come back and ask like how it was. They'll clean it up, and they like dust the table. They clean it and reset the table every time.
They literally had a little mini broom where they would dust off the crumbs, like just and now we're going to lean a little bit into entrepreneurship, right? Because as we're experiencing this, of course we're entrepreneurs, so we're just thinking, how do we learn from this, right? So there's the immaculate customer service. And I think sometimes you're like, Michelin star restaurant, why is it $400 per person? There's no way it's worth it. The service that you get there is just crazy,
right? It's unlike anything else.
Unlike anything else. Number 2, these are experts in their field. The fact that they remember the entire menu, they know how things are cooked, even though they're not the chef, they can tell you how things are prepared. The fact that they are matching the wines, they know which vineyard this wine comes from.
They know the origins of every ingredient on that plate.
Masterful. Right. So if you're thinking about your own business and you're trying to increase your prices, you're trying to take your business to the next level, you need to become a master in your field, and everyone in your team needs to become a master of something. And then you need to provide immaculate customer service, y'all. Those are just two entrepreneurship quick nuggets in there for you. Because it's definitely a different experience at a Michelin star restaurant.
Look, and Bottle says my wife deserves this experience. I can't wait to take you. Yes, she does.
Oh, here she goes.
Yes, she does.
Oh, here she go.
I'm excited to hear how it goes. It was amazing. You just feel like a little king and queen for real.
Yeah, they made you feel like royalty. And then the the kind of cherry on top, or the strawberry on top, because I like strawberries better, was at the end of our experience. They welcomed us into the kitchen to take a picture with the chef. And I think that just put a whole huge just stamp on the entire experience. To the Queen's point, everyone was kind of looking like, whoa, who are they?
Right.
Why did they get? Literally, I saw a Karen who was like, how did they do that? I was like, I don't know what to tell you, girl. Somehow we got blessed. But yeah, that was just like a really great experience, again, to walk in to this foreign country, to walk into this Portuguese restaurant as a melanated married millionaire in the making couple, and just be treated with the utmost respect, to be treated with that customer service, and to even get special care to go in to the chef's kitchen. Even the chef was like, hey, this is your night, you're the celebrities tonight. And I was like, thank you, chef. I appreciate that. So we're definitely going to another Michelin star restaurant. We are appreciative for Cura.
I'm assuming that's how you say it.
Cura and
Cura.
Yeah, appreciative for Cura for the amazing experience, Portugal for the amazing experience. And now we're like, all right, what else can we do that doesn't break the bank 100%, but allows us to still live on that left side of the menu?
And we didn't talk about like all of the things we got to try. We don't remember all of the things, but yeah, the steak tartare was one of them. There was a lamb. Yeah, there was a lamb chop or lamb shank, something like that.
Really good. There was this bread that was just delicious.
Was it bison? There was some other type of meat that was like, we've never had this before. I don't remember what it was. It was cooked deliciously though.
It was.
That was good.
We ate everything. We tried everything. I think we finished everything. The portions aren't that big. But that was something that I wanted to kind of get out of my comfort zone of, like, all right, I may not understand what this menu item is, but let's just try everything, Devon.
Yeah. Had some good like sushi things. And I feel like one of the things too is it's really an artistry. Like it was like each plate felt like art, like with the different flavors, the different textures, the different temperatures, like everything was different with each meal. Yeah, so definitely highly recommend if you're a foodie to just splurge, even if it's just a one-time thing, like just do it.
And it's hours. Like you're there.
We left at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, if not later. You're there for at least 3 hours. So think of it as like you would pay hundreds of dollars maybe to go on a food tour. You might pay hundreds of dollars to do an activity. So this is a delicious experience and an activity. We're worth the money, worth the investment.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. So lastly, unless you have more cuisine stuff,
I do.
Brazilian food. The Brazilian barbecue restaurant.
We did have Brazilian barbecue. That was good, and it was super cheap. It was like $25. And it was very similar to a fogo de chao or something like that. And it was in a mall, which was interesting, but it was still really good. But the other thing I wanted to talk about is the egg tart. He's not a dessert person, but this was one thing that I was like, I have to try this when we go there. It's called like a pastéis de nata. It's basically an egg tart. It's one of the things that they're known for. And so we had it a couple of times, but there was one time where I was like, I want to go to the place. Spot. I want to go to the place that started it, which was Pastéis de Belém. And Belém is just a town just right next to Lisbon. And so, yes, we did go there. A lot of things that they tell you is like, oh, the lines are so long. I promise you, we waited all of 4 minutes. The line was egg tart sounds suspect.
Thanks, Bottom.
It was good. It was good. Was it not?
It was good. Was it great? No. Did I need it? No. But we were in Portugal, so we tried it, and you loved it.
I liked it.
See, even you didn't love it.
It was good. It was good. I wouldn't say it was great. You're right. It was good. But it was like it was almost like a tiny little pie filled with like a custard type thing. And then they give you cinnamon and powdered sugar, which
I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's the key to it. We didn't have that the other 2 times we had it. That's what made it good. Once you add the cinnamon and powdered sugar, I think then it becomes like really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely recommend going and trying that. For me, it's a culture thing where it's like, I want to try the local food, especially the local dessert. I'm a sweet tooth. That's the last thing I wanted to mention.
So with all that in mind, what would you rate the cuisine, my dove? All right, a lot of good food. Some on the expensive side, some on the affordable side.
I feel like obviously the Michelin star is definitely
it's carrying.
It is.
It's
it is.
carrying.
So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 9.
Ooh, yeah. I'm trying to think of what could be better.
I mean, if it was all of that and it was the prices of Colombia.
Yeah. So I think 9.5. Do I give it a 0.5, y'all? Do I give it a 0.5? I'm gonna go with the 9 too.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the 9. You know, if they had some really good homemade peach cobbler, maybe they would have stepped up a little bit. But yeah, cuisine was very good. I love the diversity within the cuisine. The fact that you can eat from Africa, from the Middle East, from Europe, from we didn't have any Brazil. We didn't have any like Asian American food or Asian food there. We didn't have any Chinese food, no sushi.
Mm-mm.
You know, no, we need to try that. I'm sure there was something there. But yeah, the fact that you can just eat from so many different places and it's all good and relatively affordable, it's good stuff. See, I'm gonna go with the 9.
Okay. 9 for cuisine.
All right.
So if we add up all of our 4 scores, cost we had a 7.25. Culture we had an 8. Capades we had an 8, and cuisine we have a 9. So if we add all of those up, we divide by 4, we get an 8.06.
Boom.
For Portugal.
8 out of 10. Not bad, Portugal. Well, 8.06. I'm gonna give you 0.06. My bad.
They earned that
0.06. Oh yeah, not bad. Would you go to Portugal again?
Hands down. Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like there's other places too, as we were talking to other people. A lot of other people had gone other places in Portugal and highly recommended it. So I definitely would go back, ideally to another parts to see what it's about. If nothing else,
for the food for sure. If y'all have any questions, I know we have a few folks that are here live. Maybe you're watching on the replay. Go ahead and put those questions inside the comments or inside the chat, and we'll answer them live for you. Would I go again? Yes. There's definitely, I like to go to other places first.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely a lot of places in the world that I want to go before I return to Portugal. I can definitely see us going back to Portugal. Also, would you possibly retire in Portugal? Is it a possibility?
It's a possibility as a stop.
As a stop on your retirement tour.
Yeah. It's a possibility. I feel like especially in those coastal parts. What was it called? Cascais?
Yes, Cascais.
Again, we did not do very well. It's Portuguese language, so there's probably someone out there like, oh, butchering it. But it was another coastal town that almost reminded you of like a
Santa Monica, Malibu.
Yeah, which was really nice. I could definitely retire there.
Nice. Okay. Well, there it is. There's Portugal. We both recommend it. We'll probably see y'all there again. Let us know your thoughts on Portugal. Let us know your thoughts on the food that we had and the capades that we experienced. Queen, any other thoughts or comments on Portugal before we do some updates?
No, I'm good.
What's the next location we're going to do for review?
Well, the next, if we're going in order of the travel, it would be Zanzibar.
Boom, Zanzibar. All right. So sometimes we have guests on, and next week we do have a guest. We got Ben or Be Conscious coming through. He's going to talk to us about his economic theories for how he can build wealth, how we can build wealth in the Black community. That's going to be a good one. Probably a 3-hour episode.
Look, we have to break that up.
We got to break that
or
one
invite
up.
him back. We know we can talk to him.
For sure. But once we don't have another guest, I don't think we have a guest for a while now, to be honest with you. We were going to go ahead and cover Zanzibar in our next podcast. All right. Now, Queen, updates for the folks. What should they know about? What's popping?
As always, we got this financial literacy program, a 12-week financial literacy program called LIT, or Leaders Innovating Tomorrow. We're just basically going to be wrapping up our current cohort here in a couple weeks, which means that we will be getting ready to launch again in fall.
Yes.
So if you are an educator, if you know an educator who you think would be interested in having their students learn how to solve a problem in their community with a business idea, check us out. Hit us up at info@playblackwallstreet.com so we can let them know about our program and see if it would be a good a fit. So again, it's a 12-week financial literacy program, and we will be launching this again in fall when school starts for the new school year. So August, September timeframe. So hit us up.
Oh yeah, and we are primarily based in Southern California. So if you're in the LA area, Riverside area, San Diego area, Lancaster, Bakersfield, San Fernando Valley, all those places. If you are outside of Southern California, still reach out and we can continue to build and see what other offerings that we can have for your scholars at your school. Updates that I have is I'm really, I think Lit is going beautifully. Play Black Wall Street is going beautifully. And I think that encourages me to want M4 to be on the same or a similar level. Right. So I think as an update, I don't know if this is official update. I'm not saying anything crazy, Sinclair, don't worry. But there is going to be some intention. All right, some intentional time for me, the Queen Jaiya, to meet and see how we can take M4 to the next level. We appreciate y'all. We rock with y'all. We want to make sure we're giving you all the best experience possible, and we're able to build a community with you all, right? Like being able to go into these classrooms, build community with these students, see them in person, help them is just like so fulfilling for us and of course our team. So I want to be able to do something similar with M4. And I think we've been moving so fast with Play Black Wall Street. We've been literally moving all around the world. We haven't had time to really sit down and think about how we're going to build community in M4. So no official updates yet, but just know where we're going to have a lot of value coming your way. Right. So if you know Melanated Married Millionaires in the making or Melanated Married Millionaires, make sure you bring them into the fold. Right. Bring them into listening to the M4 show on a weekly basis, the live show. Make sure y'all tap in with us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, like and follow, because we really want to make sure we can take this community and this movement to the next level. Queen.
King.
Queen.
King.
Queen.
King.
You got anything else for the beautiful people?
I do not.
All good. Does Bottle have anything else for us on these comments?
I said M4 gang.
We in here, M4. We appreciate you, Bottle. You be tapping in live. Shout out to your family, your kingdom over there. Hope everything is going well with you and the family. Yeah, we're about to be out of here, y'all. So we appreciate y'all for tapping into the M4 show. My name is Devon Travell, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
And I'm Sinclair, aka the health nerd.
Make sure y'all secure the marriage. Make sure y'all secure the love. And of course, make sure y'all secure the bag. Peace. Look, we're going to get right back into the amazing podcast. But if you didn't know, in 2017, we created Black Wall Street, the board game, because we thought more families needed to know about the history of Tulsa Black Wall Street. More families needed to know about the legacy of Black excellence left behind of Tulsa Black Wall Street, that we can own a Madam C.J. Walker Beauty Salon. We can have a Booker T. Washington High School. We can have an Uncle Steve's Barbecue. We can have a Renaissance man like Simon Berry, who had his own taxi service and bus service that got bought out by the city of Tulsa. We have brilliance in our DNA. We wanted to make sure that your family can play a game that teaches them about this brilliance. So we have Black Wall Street, the board game, right here. We had the first edition available in 2017. That got sold out. We're on the second edition right now, or you can get the beautiful masterpiece version of the game as well. It's up to you. Head to playblackwallstreet.com and get yourself Black Wall Street, the board game, to empower you, your family, and generations to come. Playblackwallstreet.com. Let's get back to the episode.